Hello everybody and welcome to another simple sports video. Today we'll be simply explaining American football, something that still confuses my girlfriend to this day. If you can relate to this situation, this might be a helpful video. I'll keep it brief, I promise. Alright, let's start with the basics here. So ignore all those numbers you see on the field right now. This is a football field, and it's 100 yards long. On both sides of the field are going to be 11 players on offense and 11 players on defense. On each side of the field, you're going to have an end zone as well as a goal post. These are both used to score points. More on that later. Hopefully this is making sense so far. Let's keep going. Now, to win a football game, you're going to have to score more points than your opponent. There are two primary ways to score in football. One, a touchdown, and two, a field goal. A touchdown is when a player enters the end zone with possession of the ball. Now this is almost always going to be 7 points, but could also be 6 or 8. Don't worry too much about that right now. A field goal, which is always 3 points, is when the kicker kicks the ball through the goalpost. The more touchdowns and field goals your team gets, the more likely you are to win. Now, if you're confused at all, let's jump in with a couple examples. The team in red is on offense. The player with the ball, Stetson Bennett, is going to run it into the end zone for a touchdown. He's going to say, ring-a-ding-ding, that's 7 points on the board for the Georgia Bulldogs. Next, we have a field goal attempt. The team in white lines up to kick the field goal, launches it in between the uprights. That's 3 points on the board for Oregon State. So this seems simple enough, but what about the rest of the players on the field? I see a ton of movement and I have no idea what's happening. Honestly, that's a great question. Let's jump into the offensive positions. Most offenses are going to have one quarterback. They typically start the play and can throw it, they can run it, or they can hand the ball off. You also have typically 5 linemen who are going to try their best to protect the defense from attacking the quarterback. You also have 1 to 2 running backs who will often either run the ball towards the end zone or help block their quarterback. Lastly, you'll have receivers who typically run down the field and try their best to catch the ball thrown by the quarterback. Here's a simple diagram of the offense. You can see the quarterback, who leads the offense, receiving the ball. He's got 2 running backs to the side of him, and a bunch of receivers lined on the outside of the field. His linemen are in front of him, looking to block the defense. The play begins, and he's able to run, pass, or do whatever he wants with the football. Now, in order to move the ball closer to the end zone to score, offenses need to gain yards or have positive plays that bring them closer to the end zone. This is typically done one of 2 ways. 1, running the football. As mentioned, the quarterback can run a ball, or he can hand it off to either a running back or a receiver to progress the ball down the field. The ball can also be passed by the quarterback. He can pass it to a running back, a wide receiver, or anybody else to carry the football down the field. Now, of course, when an offensive player has the football, they can be tackled or pushed out of bounds by the defense. This stops the play. Alright, let's take a breather, review what we've learned. Now, in this clip, a Southern Mississippi running back is going to evade the defense, use his linemen as blockers, and run the ball all the way down the length of the field for a touchdown. Remember, if he had been tackled, the play would have stopped. Next up, we have Michigan. Michigan's quarterback steps back, he throws the football near the end zone, it's caught, and a touchdown for the Wolverines. I'll be honest, with the knowledge you have so far, you could probably watch and understand a football game, but let me give you just a couple more pieces of insight that may help. The down system sounds complicated, but it's really not. When an offense starts with the football, it'll be known as what's called first down and 10 yards to go. Now, before we dive into the nuances there, just a couple key terms. You'll see the blue line on your screen refers to what's called the line of scrimmage, or where the play starts. The orange line that you see on the screen is the first down line. So each play constitutes a down. If the offense gains 4 yards on their first play when it was first down and 10 yards to go, the next down would be second down, and there would be 6 yards to go to the first down marker. Now, something to note here. If you go past the first down marker in a play, for example, gaining 15 yards when it's first down and 10 yards to go, you will start over again at first down. First down is a good thing for offenses. You have 4 different plays to get to the first down marker, the last of which would be fourth down. Fourth down is typically a good thing for defenses because it means the offenses haven't been able to get 10 yards in 3 plays. If the offense runs a play on fourth down and they don't get to the first down marker, they will turn the ball over to the other team. Instead of risking that, what teams will often do on fourth down is punt the football. This is effectively a way to give the ball up to the other team, but making them start from a long way away from their own end zone. Alternatively, a team can also kick a field goal and secure 3 points on fourth down, but only if they're close enough for their kicker to make the field goal. Let's jump into some defensive positions as well. The defense will typically have 4 linemen whose job is to rush to tackle the quarterback or the running back with the football. The defense will also have a few linebackers whose job is to survey the middle of the field and make any tackles as necessary. You'll also see a couple of safeties watching the receivers and making sure that no long passes are made to them by the quarterback. Last but not least, you typically also have a couple of cornerbacks who oftentimes either guard receivers or blitz the quarterback, aka sprint at him and try to tackle him as quickly as possible. Here's a pretty simple diagram of the defense. You can see the linemen are all lined up right against the offensive linemen, trying to get to the quarterback. You can see a cornerback at the top of the screen, watching that wide receiver. The linebackers, again, are surveying the middle of the field, ready to follow wherever the ball goes. The safeties at the back of the field are also ready to guard any receivers that the cornerbacks can't pick up, especially if they go and rush the quarterback. Let's talk turnovers. So we already know that one of the ways that a defense can turn the football over or receive possession themselves is to stop the offense from getting to the first down marker while on fourth down. Another way that you can turn the football over is for the defense to catch a quarterback's pass intended for another one of his teammates. This is called an interception. Last but not least, if a member of the offense fumbles the ball, as in he drops it, somebody on the defense can pick the ball up and it's now their possession. Whoa, flag on the play. If there's ever a penalty on the field, the referee will throw a yellow flag up into the air. It's usually pretty hard to miss. Some common penalties you might see are holding, pass interference, a false start, and offsides. Holding occurs when a player illegally latches on to an opposing player without the football, impeding their progress forward. Pass interference is when, while the ball is in the air, player interferes, aka shoves, pushes, tackles, etc., another player. A false start is when an offensive player jumps or makes a movement before the quarterback snaps the football. And lastly, offsides is when a player is lined up on the wrong side of their team's line of scrimmage. And lastly, just some very brief logistics. In both college and pro football, you'll have 4 quarters of 15 minutes each, that's separated into 2 halves. The clock will stop with timeouts, incomplete passes, or when the ball carrier goes out of bounds. Each team has 3 timeouts per half, and if the game is tied after 60 minutes of play, we'll go to overtime. Hopefully this now looks like you, somebody who's ready to go enjoy a football game. Thanks so much for watching, hope you enjoyed, and tune in next time on Simple Sports.